Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our information session on the BSc Information Technology program. This is a two-year Bachelor's of IT degree from the University of Bedfordshire. It's the newest and most affordable BSc in IT in Trinidad at the moment. All right, so just what I want to do is just to share briefly about your speakers, but today is it should be speaker rather than speakers. My name is Ravi Raghunath. I'm the Executive Director of CTS College, and I'll be working closely with you guys from now, even from before, until your application has been submitted. I'll communicate with you after. I'll have an induction program for you guys, and I'll be supporting you as well, even on your journey through the program after you've gotten started as well. Certainly in terms of today's session, we'll be covering quite a few things as well. Today's session should run for roughly 1 hour. And some of the things we'll be looking at in today's session would be, why should you study a BSc in Information Technology? I mean, there are so many other options available. And then if you're going to study a BSc in Information Technology, why should you study with the University of Bedfordshire? And why study with CTS College as well? And then now that you've made a decision in terms of which program, etc., let's look at the features of the program. All right, how will it fit into your busy lifestyle? What would you learn? What kind of support would you get? Where will you graduate? Are you eligible to study, but do you satisfy the entry requirements? How much would it cost? And when do I start? So those are some of the things that will be answered in today's session. Now, before we do, however, I wanted to find out from you guys also, I'm not specific to the BSc in IT, but why are you guys studying? Why are you furthering your education? Whether the choice is a BSc in IT, whether it's just to move from where you currently are to a higher qualification, what are you guys hoping to achieve? And if I could just open up the floor, if you could turn on your mic for a moment and just share with me in terms of what your expectations are, in terms of if you pursue your degree, what do you expect to happen? What kind of benefits do you expect that it will add to you? Anyone, please.
Hi, Ravi. This is Karen here.
Hey, Karen.
Well, for me particularly, I always had the desire to go into it. However, I kind of stray a little bit and I went into marketing.
Right.
So as I feel that I reached my niche in the marketing area, now I decided to actually go back into IT and focus a little more on that.
Not a problem. At the end of it, part of the reason for doing this program then, is it a bit of a change in career then? Maybe moving from IT, from marketing to IT?
Slightly, because my current position, I kind of lays with my IT team as well. Right. So it could lead to a
better
change.
Understanding of IT as well. Not a problem. Yeah. Anyone else?
For me, it's to further advance my job wise.
You already have IT experience and you're looking at topping it up with a degree?
Yeah. I've strayed, well, similar, I haven't really strayed, but I have dabbled, trying to reach my niche. Yeah. So I see there's a perfect opportunity to actually get it done within a reasonable time frame as well.
Not a problem. Excellent. Anyone else would like to share? When you guys are looking at a program, what do you focus on? If I could get a bit from you to help me to understand the needs of the customer, what do you guys focus on when you're looking for a program? So let's say, for example, this is one of the many programs you're looking at. What are some of the things that interest you most about the program, or what are you specifically looking for that will make your decision or help you make a decision whether you want to do that program or not? Right? It could be like pricing, it could be support, it could be many different things, duration, etc. But what are the things that motivate you most?
Maybe cost, duration, and as well as the topics. What courses will be available?
Not a problem. Very good.
Anyone? For me, it's more. This Karen here is more the as I say, the duration and the time, because my time does be a little crazy sometimes. So it's trying to get that time I can actually focus.
Not a problem. Christina, Ariel, what about you guys? If you don't mind sharing with me or with the forum to get an idea, what are some of the things you're looking forward to in this program or in doing a program? What motivates you guys the most?
You hearing me?
I'm hearing you now.
Yes. Well, for me, it is like how this could affect if I'm going to get a job, how this could apply to my job, what I'm going to trying to do.
All right, very good. So therefore, does it provide you with the practical skills to better equip you to do your job?
Yeah.
Right? Very good. All right. I'll hear from some of the younger ones as well. Miguel or Satyam, any particular reasons when you guys have to choose a program, any particular things you look for in the program? We talked about like cost, maybe duration, the kind of support you get, how practical it is, etc. You guys want to share? And anyone else? I'm just calling names just to encourage business.
This is Satyam here.
Hi, Sat.
Well, for me, from previous experience with different schools, well, this CTS is only school that is explaining topics like at a basic level, and you still don't understand what they are trying to teach you. Reason why I choose to do it.
So tutors play an important role in your choice. Not a problem. Cool. All right. Vita, any word from you in terms of what are some of the things you're looking for?
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I previously started this program with another institution, and teacher support is very important. For me, I had some bad experience with some lecturers whereby support wasn't top priority, and because of that, I dropped out and left it alone for a couple of years. So I had one of my friends who attended CTS, and she said, no, it's nothing like how they used to do it at that particular institution. The support system here is great, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you. No problem. And if you'd like as well, I'm more than happy for any one of you, because the last thing I want to do is blow my own trumpet kind of thing. I would like, if you guys are interested, I'm more than happy to let you speak to students in the class. Trust me, this is not coaching. I want them to speak their honest experience to you about the support that they would have gotten as well. And therefore, so you have more information. If support is crucial to you, maybe they'd be able to share their experience as well. Because the truth is that support has been one of our biggest success factors. But at the same time too, you know, it hasn't always been what I wanted it as well. But the fact is that if you talk to student support at CTS generally is one of our biggest competitive advantage. All right. Well, let's get into today's session as well. All right. Or anyone else before we? All right. Okay, no problem. So good morning, Ricardo. Okay, so just moving on now. So we were talking about why study a degree. And this is one of the reasons we get typically when we ask whether it's an MBA, whether it's a bachelor's degree, etc. These are often the reasons we find students telling us in terms of why they want to study. One, some students are already working and therefore they're seeking a promotion. And therefore they're hoping that having a qualification would help in improving their job security, gaining a promotion as well. Some students are looking at a career change. So therefore they've always liked IT, but they're working in a different field and therefore they're looking at a career change. Some simply, as I said, promotion typically goes with increase in salary. Some would have indicated, look, I'm looking for a better salary and I'm hoping that with my bachelor's degree, it can help me to get that better salary as well. Some students even looking at starting or growing their own business, and having a degree, it will help them in that area. Particularly an IT degree will help you if you're looking at starting a degree that is very much technology related or an IT business, right? And then you have personal achievement. For many of you, especially if you're a parent, you know how much you would like your kid to be well qualified, your child to be well qualified. And for many of us as well, having a degree is a personal achievement that we all want. And then, as I said, many of us want the practical experience so that we can go out to work and make a difference because we're gaining value from the program as well. And of course, we want to add that to our resume to enhance our employability as well. Okay, so those are some of the reasons. Now, many times when we speak to students to find out about what are some of the things they look forward to in terms of the program, what are you looking at, or what are the motivational factors that encourage you to choose a program? So often money or cost comes very high on the list. Of course, class times, support, etc. But often cost becomes one of the crucial factor. What I wanted to share with you is in terms of the program, because many of us, we see the program as a cost rather than an investment. I want to share with you a bit that when you're looking at your degree, yes, it is a cost, but I also want you to see it as an investment in yourself and how having a degree can make a big difference as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the OJT, that's on the job training. Most of you should be familiar with what on-the-job training is, right? It's a program by the government to help persons to gain work experience. And the OJT program basically caters a person who doesn't have work experience. And these are the different, based on your qualification, this is what the salaries are. So the monthly salary, if you have just CXC, would be $3,025 per month. If you have CAPE or you have a diploma, you'll get $4,356 per month. If you have an associate degree, you'll get $5,445. And if you have a bachelor's degree, you'll get $7,562. Of course, if you have a master's degree, you'll get $8,712. What I want you to look at now, let's suppose that you have decided that you're going to work with your OJ as an OJT, right? Of course, it's just a 2-year program, so it's just only for 2 years. But let's take a look at the difference in salary between an OJT with CXC passes and an OJT with a bachelor's degree. From the table, can you identify, well, let's go straight to the end of it. How much you think over a lifetime? Let's suppose you're hired to work as an OJT and your salary does not change. How much more you think you would make in your lifetime if you work with a bachelor's degree, an OJT with a bachelor's degree versus an OJT with just CXC? Anyone want to share what they believe might be the difference in salary? How much more you'll make if you had a bachelor's degree working as an OJT versus working as an OJT with just CXC passes for your lifetime? And let's assume your lifetime, people will typically work around 45 years until retirement. How much more you think that might equate to? Any thoughts, suggestion? Tell me a number that comes at the top of your head. What are you thinking?
It seems like it's almost double the amount that you'll be working for after the degree.
Right, correct. But without trying to do all the maths, just say at the top of your head, if you had to call a figure, how much you think it might be? Like if someone were to ask you this just on the street, hey, what do you think? And you just have to call a figure. What do you think it might be, the difference? Anyone, just venture some guesses, guys, if it's all right.
The difference if you work till the end of retirement?
45 years as an OJT with a bachelor's degree versus working 45 years with just CXC. How much more?
Probably 2 million something, no? So, no?
Yeah, that's correct. It's about over $2 million you earn, you know. Let's take a look. In 1 month, how much difference will you earn? It'll be 7,562 minus 3,025. So in 1 month, right, you would earn $4,537 more with a bachelor's degree versus an OJT with just CXC passes, right? Now, in 1 year, multiply that by 12, that's $54,000 more you earn in 1 year. So in 1 year, this is not how much you earn in total. This is how much more you would have earned if you had just CXC passes. That's $54,000. That already covers the cost of the program, right? Etc. So just to say, you have to sometimes see it as an investment. But the thing is, you're not going to work for 1 year and then retire, would you? Right? So let's suppose now that you work for 45 years at the same salary. Guess how much more you'd work? You'd work for over $2.178 million more, right? And that's the difference. This is just an example of how having a degree is an investment, because in the first year alone, you would have paid back for your program. You would have paid back for the program just 1 year of studies, and the rest of it, you're just earning additional income. You imagine what you would do with over $2 million more, right? Now, the other thing about it, the realities is that persons with a degree have a much greater chance of having their salary increase than someone with a BSc with just CXC passes. The rate at which your salary increases with CXC passes is a slower rate than if you had a bachelor's degree. Now, I'm saying all of this without saying that once you have your degree, yes, you will get a job, right? There are many other factors that determine getting a job as well. So having a degree is simply to make you more competitive, all right? Okay, so why study with the University of Bedfordshire? Well, the University of Bedfordshire is ranked as one of the top 6 universities in the world, 6% of universities in the world, right? They also won the Queen's Award in 2013, which is a national recognition in the UK, and it's one of the highest form of local recognition in the UK. They have 5 campuses in different parts of UK, with one in Luton, Bedford, Potteridge, Aylesbury, and Milton Keynes. They also have partners in numerous locations across the world, including China, Middle East, Europe, etc. And also in the Caribbean. They have 3 schools in Trinidad offering Bedfordshire programs, 1 in Guyana, 1 in St. Lucia, and they're increasing their partnership on this side of the world, all right? And apart from that, as I said, they have over 20,000 students from over 120 different countries studying their programs. They are ranked, they're highly ranked in many of the different rankings as well, right? But we won't focus too much on rankings only, because rankings is just one part of it. The reality is that it's a recognized and accredited program. So therefore, its recognition by employers, etc., should not be an issue at all. All right. So why should you study at CTS? So we've looked at the University of Bedfordshire, but what about CTS College? For many of you, CTS College might be new. You've never studied at CTS before. Maybe a friend recommended you, etc. So why should you study at CTS College? So just a bit about CTS College. We are a private tertiary institution. We offer programs actually from a primary to secondary to tertiary, including diplomas, bachelor degrees, and master's degree programs as well. And we also offer a range of certification courses. These certification courses are really to supplement your academics as well, because there's a growing trend now of persons doing certification courses for the practical experience also. All right, so we have over 20 years of experience in the education industry. We are ACTT recognized institution, and we partner with awarding bodies in the UK mainly. We've also partnered with an Australian Institute of Business. That's a school in Australia, and we've partnered with them previously. We've won over 88 AB World Prizes. We've won over 45 university awards with the University of Hertfordshire for being the top student in the world in their programs. We've won ABMA awards as well for students. And even from ACTT, they no longer have these awards currently, but when the awards were available, we've won 11 ACTT awards. That's from the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. We've won award for student support services, 6 awards for student support services. We have won more ACTT awards than any other institution in Trinidad. And we are competing with the giants like UoB, University of Southern Caribbean, Costa, UTT, etc. So this is really a humbling, victory for us as well. We've won 3 awards for excellence in an established quality management system, 2 for excellence in teaching and learning. But to me, the one I prize most is the one for student support, because really our students are our greatest assets. And for me, education is my ministry. I believe this is really where God wants me to be. And therefore, for me, it's about pouring out to our students as well, trying to provide the best support that's available to them as well. In terms of our experience with delivering a BSc in Information Technology, we have been delivering a BSc for over 14 years. We started our first BSc program with the University of Hertfordshire. Our pass rate for that program is over 85%. We've had over 2,000 applicants, over 1,700 graduating students, with more than 480 students graduating with first class honors. Our graduates are employed in various sectors as well across the industry. So we've had a lot of experience with delivering a BSc IT. One of the reasons we switched from Hertfordshire to Bedfordshire has nothing to do with any fallout or anything like that. The only thing was simply that with the University of Hertfordshire, we couldn't come, because pricing is so important to our students. The University of Hertfordshire pricing was outside of the ballpark. If we did offer their program, it would have been the most expensive BSc IT in Trinidad. And the thing is that we have grown our reputation of having some of the most affordable programs, and we knew that it would have been very difficult to sell when we are offering the most expensive IT program in the country. So we tried negotiating, but we couldn't come to a figure that I felt would have been supported in the industry, because it's a very price sensitive market as well. Therefore, we worked with Bedfordshire because of several reasons, and some of them which I'll include as we go through the program as well, but cost being one of the key issues as well, right? So that's why we switched programs, and cost being the main factor. In terms of features of the Bedfordshire program, these are some of the features that should ideally interest you as well. One, the program is globally accessible. As I indicated to you that this program, there are students all around the world doing this program, and therefore there's an online learning environment that you could access anywhere in the world. So whether you are working and your employer sends you out of the country, well, now that might be a little challenge with the borders being closed, but eventually if things change, right, you can submit your assignments. Everything is done online. You can submit your assignments online, etc. You have access to an online learning environment as well. So it's globally accessible anywhere in the world. All you need is internet access. It's fully accredited, right? It's work applied, it's practical, which someone had asked earlier on. And we'll talk a bit more about that later on as we go through. It's accelerated because many of you indicated that you wanted a program that you can complete in the shortest possible time as well. And therefore we have searched long and hard to get a program that could be done faster than any of the other program without softening the quality of the program as well. So it's fully accredited, and of course it must be affordable, and that's the last one as well. So those are some of the features of the program. We'll discuss each of these in more details shortly. So let's start with the first one. The program is fully accredited. Now, first of all, the program is accredited within the UK, and it's accredited by the Quality Assurance Agency. That's QAA. It's an independent body, right? And what they do, they advise the government on the quality of different programs. So the University of Bedfordshire goes through a process of review each year, and they are QAA approved. Additionally, in Trinidad and Tobago, the University of Bedfordshire is also recognized by the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. If you were to go to ACTT's website, you would see the University of Bedfordshire listed as a recognized institution as well. So all is well in terms of the program. So it matches all the quality standards required. Now, I want to share with you as well about the program. You see, even though CTS College is offering this program, it goes through a rigorous process of quality assurance. So for example, right, one, all our marketing and promotions are approved by the university. We can't just deliver anything we want. All our marketing or our ads, etc., must be approved by the university. All admissions, meaning when you apply, you are not approved by CTS College. We will review your application to ensure that it has all the supporting documents, etc. But the university is the one who approves your application. Apart from that, all our lecturers are approved by the university. While we will interview the lecturers and ensure that they have all the requirements, the fact is that their approval comes from the university. Now, just a thing about the lecturers as well. In terms of our lecturers, there are three things we particularly look for with our lecturer. One, they must be qualified, right? So they must have a recognized bachelor's, master's degree, right? And apart from that, in IT, and apart from that, we look for industry specialists. We look for practitioners, people who are actually working in the industry, right? So those are critical things. And also the ability to teach is crucial, because if they're not able to impart that knowledge to you, it's almost a waste of time. So teaching experience is a valuable asset as well. But having said that, we also put our staff through a process of training and development as well, to ensure that they are ready for the classroom also, apart from their own experience from teaching previously. All teaching materials are approved and provided by the university. Of course, we have the option to update those materials as well, to customize it with local examples to make it more relevant to you. All the assessments are set by the university and are marked by the university as well. Apart from that, the university does annual audits to ensure we do what we say we will do, and we do according to their guidance and handbook as well. And then the other thing too is they're also looking for continuous feedback and review from students as well. So that's part of the process. As I indicated early on, this program is also globally accessible. There are over 20,000 students from over 120 countries enrolled in the program, from different countries doing this program. It's globally accessible. You can access this from almost anywhere in the world once you have a reliable internet connection. There's an online learning environment called BRIO, right? That's Bedfordshire Resource, right? And it's available 24/7. So you have access to your information 24/7. All your notes and stuff like that are placed online. Apart from that, too, what CTS has done, we also have a shared drive that we make accessible to you as well. And that will have our own lecture notes and other stuff that we will download, additional resources as well to support you in your journey through education. Apart from that, the program is practical. Now, throughout the program, you would be solving real life problems, real IT problems as well. The program is not about theory only. It's a combination of theory as well as practice. It's important that you understand some of the theories, but it's more crucial you can apply those theories. So therefore, throughout the course, you are solving problems. So whether you're writing programs, whether it is you're creating a database, whether it is you're developing designing an interface or also, right? You are solving problems throughout the entire course. It's extremely hands-on and practical, and you'll be delivering IT solutions throughout the entire program. Okay, so it's a very practical program. Now, one of the things students often say is they're looking for a program that could be done in the shortest possible time. When we were looking for a program, we wanted a program that differentiated us from our competitors as well. While I believe that all the IT programs in Trinidad are wonderful, and therefore you should choose one that best accommodates your needs, right? So sometimes this program may not be the one that best suits your need. Any of the IT programs in Trinidad, they are all fine. I think they're wonderful programs. So therefore, this is not to put down anyone. The truth is all the IT programs in Trinidad are wonderful. And if you were to choose any of them, I will encourage you as well to study. It doesn't matter which one you choose, but choose one that fills your need. For example, early on, Kavita had indicated that the student support was crucial to her. To another student, the course is important. To another, the time frame and the duration for completion is important. So therefore, all I'm simply saying to you is look at the different programs and choose the one that meets the bulk of your needs as well, right? And so I'm sharing with you a bit more about this particular program, right? With the University of Bedfordshire program. So when we were looking for a program, we needed to find a program that was different from the others. It had to offer some competitive advantage. So we looked at cost, we looked at accelerated as well, which is duration. Now, in terms of duration, here I want to tell you a bit about the program. Now, the program consists of 3 levels. You have year 1, year 2, and year 3. Now, if you are studying this program in the UK, in year 1, you have, in every year, there are 3 semesters, but you are only doing classes in 2 semesters, and the 3rd semester, you're on a break for 4 months. So basically, let's say you start in October. So you would have classes, your first semester is October to January. That's your first semester. Your second semester is from February to May. And then the 3rd semester is from May until September, right? But in that semester, students don't study anything. Basically, they're on their summer break and they just home relaxing, etc. Or depending, they may go on a small summer job or something. In the Trinidad context, however, a lot of our students who are enrolling in the program are already working. So what I've indicated to the university is that if it's possible, we could remove that break period, that 4 months where they do nothing. So you do 8 months of classes, which is 2 semesters, you complete year 1, but rather than waiting an extra 4 months doing nothing, let the students go on to the 2nd year. And the university agreed to it. And by doing so, it means now you could finish year 1 in 8 months, you'll finish year 2 in 8 months, and you finish year 3 in 8 months. So when you add up 8 plus 8 plus 8, that's 24 months, you are finishing the full program. That's 2 years. So you are finishing the bachelor's degree in 2 years. The other thing as well, anyone can start the program. So what they did was, if you straight out a CXC, you don't have A-levels, or you don't have any tertiary qualification, or you don't have IT work experience, or you don't have work experience at all, then you can start. They created a bridging program, and the bridging program is just one module that runs for 1 semester or 4 months. So basically, if you just straight out of CXC, you're just spending an additional 4 months. So it's 2 years, 4 months to complete the program if you're just coming straight from CXC. And here's the thing, you don't even need to have CXC passes. There's no requirement for any number of CXC passes. You could start, anyone could start the bridging program. So if you have just written CXC, you're waiting results, or you haven't written CXC, you could start at the bridging level if you choose. If you have just general work experience, you might be able to start directly into year 1 of the program as well. So the accelerated nature of the program allows it to be completed in just 2 years if you're starting from year 1. Of course, if you're starting from the bridging program, then it will be 2 years, 4 months. Now, the other thing as well is that you could start at any of the different levels, but we'll come to those shortly. Additionally as well, cost is crucial to you. So what I was able to do is negotiate with the university a costing that would make this the most affordable BSc when you compare it to all the BSc IT offered in all the private institutions. Okay, so we'll get through with those as well. And apart from that, there's financing available. We partner with GMMB to assist students as well in obtaining finances.
Ravi, excuse Karen here. I just want to ask one quick question. As you mentioned the years, right? So I just run a reference, right? So if I do it and I end up just doing like a first year and something happen and I can't make, would you be given like or will you get like any sort of merits at the end of the first year? Like if you decide to stop and continue further along or something like that?
All right, okay. Now the answer initially is no, and not yet, and I'll explain why. When I negotiated the program with the university, there were several changes I had negotiated with them from what they had on campus. One was to change it from 3 years to 2 years by removing the break, the 4-month break in each year, right? So they agreed to that, but the thing is that what they did was they agreed in stages. So the first thing we did, we got approval for the program to deliver it exactly as it was in the UK. Then we got the approval. We recently got the approval now to have 3 intake periods. In the UK, they only have 2 intake periods because remember the 3rd semester is summertime, right? So they modified that recently. That means now that the program can be completed in 2 years. The next thing that I'm looking at for them modifying as well is at the end of every level, students would be able to gain an intermediate qualification. So the program, instead of just being seen as a 2-year bachelor's degree, you get qualification at the end of every level. Now that one has not been approved as yet because in the UK, you have to complete the entire degree to get a qualification, right?
Okay.
So what I'm trying to do now is to change it so that it looks more like other qualification like ABE or the NCC qualification where you can do the diploma, advanced diploma, and at the end of each stage, you get it. Now, if you were to go to UE and if you're doing the normal full degree, students normally would not get a intermediate qualification, but this is what I'm trying to change with the program. Now, they did indicate that it's possible, but it will be a change in culture at the university because this is something new that hasn't been asked for before. However, they see it as something that is possible. The problem though is that in terms of the approval for it, with COVID and all of that and the university moving, because of COVID, the university actually staff working from home and very few staff now work on campus, meeting to get approvals and all of that have been a bit pushed back. So this part of it, the approval for that has been pushed back. So probably next year we might get the approval for it. Right, but for now the answer, Karen, is not yet. It's not fully ready as yet for intermediate qualification. So you have to complete the full program to get your qualification. But you can take a break and you can restart at any time.
Okay.
Right? Okay. I'll actually get into the actual costing with you guys later on, closer to the end of the program. Right? We're going to look at now how the program is structured. So in terms of the structure of the program, it's made up of 3 levels. So I have level 4. Please forgive me. Level 4, which is known as year 1. And in terms of year 1, there are 4 units. Each level, there are 4 units. Now, level 4 is ideal for persons who have a CAPE or A levels. If you don't have A levels, not a problem. If you have done any tertiary qualification, you could get in. It doesn't matter whether it's IT or non-IT, right? It doesn't matter what your CAPE qualifications are in any way. You could get in with A levels or with IT, with general work experience. If you have 3 or more years of general work experience, you can get in, Or if you have IT work experience, you could get in. If you have IT certifications, you could get in. What I mean by IT certifications would be like A+, Net Plus, and things like those. All of those can help you. So therefore, what you do, usually when you're applying, I will review all your different items that you have, and therefore assist you in determining where might be the best level to start at. And of course, when you apply, if you, let's say you only have CAPE and you apply for level 6, I will send your application. I would advise you that likely you'll only get into level 4, but if you want to start at level 6, you'll put level 6, but the university makes the final decision. Of course, in such cases, they would likely not accept you for level 6 and recommend you for level 4 instead, right? So that's typically how it would work. But what we do is, these are some of the different levels, and this is how you can start directly at a level. So to start level 5, if you've completed level 4, you can start level 5, or if you have 2 years IT work experience and you have some IT certificates as well, you could start at level 5. You could start level 6 if you've completed level 5, or you could start level 6 if you have an associate degree or a higher national diploma or a level 5 IT diploma. Any of those, you could start directly into level 6, which is year 3. If you have 6 or more years of IT work experience and you have IT certifications, there's a really good chance you could start directly into level 6 as well. Again, having said all of these, the university makes the final decision, right? Not CTS, but these are just recommendations in terms of where you can start based on what was agreed with the university and based on what I've seen in terms of students who've applied already and where they're starting, okay? Now, if you don't start in any of these levels, there's the bridging program. So apart from these, there's the bridging program. So the bridging program is really geared for students who do not meet the entry requirements to start at level 4. It will be ideal if a student is straight out from secondary school, right? You can start. Now, you don't need CXC passes, as I indicated. So if you just wrote CXC, you don't need to wait until you get results. You can apply, right? So the truth is, anyone can start the program, even mature candidates without work experience. So let's say you have no academic qualification, you have no work experience either, whether it's IT or non-IT, but let's say you're 21 years old and you want to start the program, you can start. You can start at the bridging level if that's the case, right? So the bridging level is just 4 months in duration and you're doing one subject. Once you pass that, you can start directly into level 4, all right? So that's typically how it works, okay? So this is just a diagram illustrating the different levels from bridging to level 4 to level 5 to level 6. At the end of level 6, you get your bachelor's, your BSc, okay? Now, what is covered in the program? Because someone had asked, I want this program to be very practical, right? So let's take a look at what you'll cover. In year 1, you'll focus more on introduction. So you'll be introduced to software, you'll introduce to databases, you'll be introduced to hardware as well, right? You look at how computers are built, how computers work, right? And you'll even be introduced to like Microsoft, Oracle, Java. So you will be doing programming as well. Apart from that, one of the courses as well is also to help you in terms of your employability. So you learn about resume, like enhancing your resume and all of those as part of the year 1 program as well. In terms of level 5 now, which is year 2, year 2 focuses more on designing software and developing to fit existing solutions. So you'll be doing more development and design and development work. So you will design interfaces for system. You will also build and code system as well. You will go through the full process of the development life cycle as well. So those are some of the things you'll do, but you'll be doing a bit of project management. You will also look at how IT is used to enhance current trends in IT as well. So those are some of the things you look at. And in the final year, right? The final year, the focus of the final year is to develop independent learning. So therefore, you'll have to develop or solve an independent solution. So you could choose now an IT-related problem that you would like to solve. Right now, a lot of students are developing like e-commerce solutions. Some of them are developing. Later on, we would look at developing a learning management system as well, right? But the focus of this year's project is to develop an e-commerce system. Right. You'll also do a lot of research and look at emerging technologies within the field, current trends, etc. Right. So those are some of the things that you'll be focusing on in each of the 3 years. But there are lots of there is programming in each of the level, right? Plus development from different aspects. So project management, developing the computer interface, designing computerized systems as well, and developing databases also are different aspects that you will be learning as you go through the program. You'll also learn about networking as well in the program. So this is a list of the different modules. So in the bridging program, you're doing one subject. It's a 30 credit unit. In level 4, there are 4 subjects: Intro to Software Development, Fundamentals of Computer Studies, Principles of Programming, and Computer System Structure. And level 5, these are the subjects, as well as level 6, those are the subjects there. I want to share with you some more details now. Now, we've worked with other awarding bodies, and often we found that in other programs, each subject is very specific in its content. So for example, if I'm doing a course on networking, the focus of that entire course is networking. With this program, you'll realize that there are fewer units. So there are fewer, a unit is also a subject, right? There are fewer subjects or fewer units. But when you start doing the course, you realize like one unit here. So for example, if you're doing computer system structure, that course includes an entire unit on networking and an entire, it's a networking course, plus it's a database course, right? As well as programming as well. So there are 3 different things that is being covered: databases, networking, and programming in computer system structure. So in terms of the course, it's not as specialized. Each subject doesn't specialize in one area. It may cover multiple areas. And that is why there are fewer subjects. Now, the fewer subjects, the better it is for you, because it lowers your overall cost. Because remember, when you are paying fees, you are paying per subject or per unit. So the fewer units, the lower your tuition fees. But content-wise has not been sacrificed. So when you're covering a unit, you might be covering 2 or 3 different areas within a unit. Okay? Now, what about classes? How can I fit this into my busy lifestyle? Because many of you might be working and you really want to get your degree, but you're trying to figure out how do I fit it in? Let's take a look at how this works. There are 3 intake periods. There's one in February, one in June, one in October. Now, the October intake coincidentally starts at the end of September, right? Although it's called the October intake, sometimes it starts at the end of September. Often it starts in October. So your intake is starting at the end of September, right? That's the next intake. If you don't want to start there, the intake after that is in February, and then there's one in June. So the truth is, every 4 months, a new intake starts. So you could start you are just simply 4 months away from your next intake, worst case. Good. In terms of the subjects now, we are doing 2 units at a time. So remember, we're doing each level in 2 semesters, except for the bridging program. The bridging program is done in 1 semester, but level 4, level 5, level 6, each of those levels done in 2 semesters, right? Now, because you're doing it in 2 semesters, that means you're doing two units or 2 subjects in 1 semester and 2 subjects in the other semester. So here's how it works now. So you're doing 2 subjects in your current semester. So it's October. You're starting the program. You have 2 subjects you're doing from October to January. In terms of those 2 subjects, each subject has a 2-hour session on Saturday. So there's a 2-hour class per week per subject. So really just 4 hours of classes. However, having said that, when you have an assignment due, right, we will card additional support, additional classes if required by you to ensure that you are able to complete your assignment and you get all the support you need. If you need additional class, we'll make it available. If you don't need additional class, there's no need for the additional. So I'm just saying to you that although these are teaching classes to prepare you for the course, they're very likely, if students need additional session, additional tutorials, additional support, etc., we make those available. So those may be on an evening, like after 6 or from 6 to 8 or so, depending, right? Each unit is assessed typically via an assignment. Most units have just 2 assignments, right? So in most cases, a unit has 2 assignments, but you may find an odd case where a unit has 3 assignments. But most cases, there are 2 assignments per unit. The semester typically runs for 12 to 15 weeks, right? The reason why you have a 15 week is if there's a break within the semester, so you may have a 2-week break. Like let's say for Easter, you have a 2-week break for Easter, etc. What we typically do, however, we try to teach the course, complete the content as early as possible so you can focus and spend more time working on your assignments. The assessments are typically assignment-based. In some cases, you may have a test, but the bulk of the modules are pure assignments, all right? So based on this, each week really you have 4 hours of classes per subject, okay?
Ravi, sorry, Kieran here again. One quick question. We choose the units or it's preset?
It's preset because there are 4 units. So if we were to go back a bit, Karis, let me just take a look at this here. So let's say you're starting level 4, right? In level 4, the 2 subjects we'll be offering in October will be Principle of Programming and Computer System Structure. So
Okay.
we'll be offering in September, right, in October, and then the other 2 you will do from February. Good?
Okay. Okay.
So that's how we alternate the 2. Good? Now, please note that because we alternate the 2, so you're doing 2 at a time, here's one of the drawbacks of it though, right? And the drawback is only if you decide to take a break. So let's say, for example, you start these 2 from October to January. So you do these 2. Then these 2 will be available from the next semester, which is from February to May. But let's suppose now you decide, I do 1 semester and then I take a break in the 2nd semester. What happens now in the 3rd semester? What will be offered again?
Yeah, they go back to the principal programming and stuff.
Right, the 2 that you already did. So if you're going to take a break, it means that you're taking a break for roughly 8 months rather than 4 months. Because the 2 that you did, after 4 months, the 2 that you already did will be back again. So you just need to know that, right? But however, if you completed 1 level and you take a break, it wouldn't affect you because the next 4, you take a break, then you could start the next level because remember, they're within here, right? You could do these in any order. So given that's the case now, if you do these 4 and then you take a break and the next 4 months you start, that's not a problem because you're starting here. You can start with any 2 year. Good. So that's typically how it works. Another thing to note in the final year, just a note, please, right? Your undergraduate project this is the only subject that has a prerequisite. The undergraduate project is typically done after you've done research methodologies. So research methodologies is the prerequisite for the undergraduate project. So whenever you're starting year 3, you must do research methodologies first with another module. So every semester, research methodologies will be offered with either advanced IT or with social and professional project management. And after you've done that, in your next semester, you'll do the undergraduate project and the other unit. Good? So this is the only case where there's a prerequisite. The undergraduate project, really, the project consists of 2 modules, research methodology and undergraduate project, but you must do research first before you do the undergraduate project. And that's the only case where there's a prerequisite. All right. So how can I fit this into my busy lifestyle? Well, we went through some of these. Now, the next part is, how will I be assessed? Now, one of the things I was looking for when I was choosing a program is I wanted a program that did not have much exam base. I wanted a program that was more assignment based. Now, why? The reason is that over the years, as I said, we have 20 years of experience in the industry, right? And I have found that students, when we prepared students for an exam, often it was last minute, the cramming, and the retention is limited. They retain stuff for a shorter period of time. However, when students had an assignment to do, they tend to spend a lot more time and effort and energy working on that assignment. They would have scrapped it, redo it, etc. They would have done so much research for the assignment that their knowledge of the subject area is far greater. And so those are some of the reasons why I prefer assignments to exam. Apart from that, in an exam, the most they could ask you to do in a 2-hour exam is probably write a small bit of coding, because there's only so much code you could write in a 2-hour exam. However, when you are given coding to do as an assignment, you are building an entire application. So you get more practical skills from assignments rather than from exams, right? So what the university does, however, in terms of assessing you, they assess you via a broad variety of methods. So for example, the bulk of your assessment will be coursework, right? Coursework is an assignment that you're given and you may have like maybe 6 weeks to get it done, etc., right? You have group work and individual projects. So you have some assignments where you have to work together as a group to get it done. And one of the reasons and the rationale from the university for group work is because they believe they are preparing you for the world of work. And in the world of work, often you have to work in a team. And therefore, to get that team experience, you have to do some group projects as well. Now, there are only some group projects. Most of them are individual projects, right? Apart from that, sometimes you may have to develop a portfolio. So for example, in one subject, one assignment was a portfolio, but to do the portfolio every week, you had something like to complete, and those things that you complete over 6-week or 8-week period built your portfolio. So the portfolio is made up of several different things that you're doing over a period of time, and each of them are different deliverables that build together, that add towards your portfolio. Then you may have an essay to write. Okay, but essays are very, in terms of the essay, they're very much relevant to the subject area in terms of understanding the subject area more. You may have presentations to do. Now, why I like presentations, as both an employer and as an educator as well, I need to equip you more than just about having a certificate. When you go out there, you are not just representing CTS College, you are representing University of Bedfordshire, and you are representing every other student who have that degree program, who has that qualification. If you go out there and you make employers proud, you know what they do? They often don't see it as you, they see it as the school or the institution, and therefore everyone benefits. And the same thing if you go out there and you make a mess, right? And you basically don't show up yourself well, you impact the school and all the other graduates as well. So the fact is, every one of you have a social responsibility that when you go out to work, that you put your best foot forward, because you are representing all of us. And hence the reason why I like these presentations, because the presentation helps to give you confidence. Too many times students go to an interview and they're afraid to speak, and they don't realize you have to sell yourself. You have to be a bit aggressive sometimes, and you have to show that, you know, look, you're persuasive as well. You're not going to get the job simply because you have a degree. You have to show that why you are the best person for the job as well. So therefore, these presentations to me are to help to build and develop your presentation skills. That gives you confidence as well to face a group of people. You learn to know what to say, when to say, etc. So those are some of the things you gain from your presentation skills. So even though you might be shy, it is really to boost your confidence, because you need that, because at the end, you are going to be working with other people. You are going to apply for work, and in order to get that job, you need to get through that interview, and therefore you need to be able to sell yourself well. So presentations are crucial. And of course, there are some exams as well. But note, no subject is assessed purely with, you do an exam and that's the end of it. That's not how it works. It is made of at least 2 assessments. One might be 30%, one might be 70%, one might be 50%, the other 50%, one might be 40, one might be 60. Typically, those are how you assess, right? So those are assessment type. Now, in terms of level 4, the assessment really is focusing on your fundamental concepts in computer science. So for example, even from the bridging program, guys, I want to share with you the one unit that you're doing in the bridging program, you have to design an application. You are basically designing, you will have to you're given a scenario, you have to normalize the tables, you have to create a database, then you have to develop an application to support it as well. You have to write queries and all of those in your year 1 program, in the bridging program. And those same skills you're using as well in year 1, where you have to look at networking solutions, you have to develop databases as well, normalize also, and also build application using Java. Level 5, you do more critical analysis as well, trying to solve, trying to basically solve existing problems, while level 6 focuses on developing your own solution to problems, right? So those are the focus of the assessment. Now, what about passing a unit? How much marks do I need to get to pass? Well, the pass mark in every subject is 40%. But in order to pass, it's basically they look at each of your individual assignments, and your total mark now must be 40 or more. Okay, so once you have an aggregate grade of 40 or more in your assignments, you would pass your unit. Okay, next, what if you fail an assignment? Now, although the slide says something more in terms of regulation, what I have found is the following. Once you submit an assignment, even though you may have failed it, you will be given a referral. So once you submit an assignment, if you fail the unit overall, then they will give you a referral, and they'll give you a referral for each part of the assignment that you would have failed. So let's say, for example, you did 2 assignments, and one you get 42, which is a pass, but the other one you get 20. Overall, your mark, overall you did not pass the module. So the one that you got 42 in, they would not bother with that one, but the one that you got 20 in, you'll get a referral for that. A referral is simply a second chance to do, they'll give you a new assignment to do. Once you pass that assignment, you pass the module without having to pay to redo it. that's not a common occurrence in most programs, right? And often when you were doing your courses, many of you would not have gotten referrals. Here, if you once you submit and if you fail, you'll get a referral. And the referral is simply another opportunity they'll give you an assignment to do. And once you pass it, you pass the module. Of course, if you pass it, your mark is capped at 40, but you don't have to pay to redo it, okay? However, if you fail the referral, or you didn't submit any assignment, then you'll have to pay to retake the unit, okay? So at that point, you'll have to pay to retake the unit. Now, in terms of graduating now, what are some of the awards you could get? Of course, you must complete the final year to graduate. Now, remember, students can enroll directly in the final year or from year 2 or from year 1 or from the bridging as well. But to determine your class of degree, whether you get first class, honors, upper second, lower second, etc., if you start directly in the final year, then they take the best 3 marks out of the 4. So you have 4 subjects you did, they take the best 3 marks, but the project is mandatory. They must take the project and the other 2 marks. So basically it's the project and your next 2 best marks, right? That's what they do. What if you did year 2 and year 3? Well, the rule is as follows. They take your best 90 credits, but your project must be included as well. So ideally your project and your next 2 best marks, they take from your final year. Now those subjects are double weighted, and then they look at what you did in year 2 and they take your best 90 credits as well, but those will be single weighted. Good. So basically 2/3 of the marks come from your final year and 1/3 come from level 5, which is year 2. If, however, you're starting directly in the final year, then the project and your next best 2 marks determine your class of degree. So they'll find the average of those, and then based on your average, you'll determine if you get first class, upper second, etc. If your average is 70 or more, you'll get first class honors. If it's in the 60s, you'll get upper second. If it's in the 50s, lower second. And if it's in the 40s, you'll get third class honors, okay? Now, as I told you, we've won several awards from ACTT for our support. So what kind of support you'll get available in this program? Well, there's face-to-face support at CTS College. So you have your course advisors, you have your program managers as well, who will be able to guide and advise you throughout the program. You'll have your lecturer. You could have one-on-one session as well, one-on-one support if it's absolutely required as well. I have done a lot of one-on-one sessions with students as well to help to ensure that they get all the support that they need as well. Of course, you also have administrative support if you need letters and all of that. You really don't need to come to the school. Everything could be done online pretty much, okay? And then you have online support from the university as well. So you have access to Brio. So all your study materials there, your support guides, your grades, your feedback, your submission of assignments, everything is done on Brio. As I said as well, that's not included here. CTS also has a share drive where you will have access to the relevant information, books and other stuff we try to make available via the share drive as well. You'll also have access to online library through EBSCOhost. You'll have access to Emerald. You'll have access to journals and stuff from Emerald resources as well. Now, what we do after you've applied, let's say you get accepted, what CTS also does, we have an induction program. The induction program starts the week before classes start. And for the induction, a lot of our time is invested in preparing for this course. So for example, this information session, please excuse me. This information session, one is to make sure that you have all the information you need before you make that decision, because this is an investment and we want to be sure that you understand what you are getting into. After you've applied, before you start any classes, we want to make sure as well you are prepared. So we have an induction ceremony. The induction ceremony basically, and it's done online as well, but we prepare you in terms of Harvard referencing, academic writing, etc. We do a tutorial how to use Brio, right? It's important that you know how to use all of these before you get started, right? So occasionally you might have students missing this stuff, but everything is recorded now. All the online sessions are recorded, so you have access to it. But unfortunately, some students take it for granted and they think, oh, I'll manage. And the truth is, often they don't look at the videos and they miss out on some crucial stuff as well. So I encourage you as well to always review the video. Of course, at any point you could ask me stuff and I'm more than happy to go through a one-on-one session with you. That's not an issue at all, okay? In terms of the faculty, I already discussed with you as well. We look for teachers who have industry experience, who could practice what they teach, all right? And then what we've done, the student also has a voice. So there's the student voice and there's student representation. For us, it's not just about, well, we deliver a course and, you know, whether you like it or not, that's not the case. It's really important that you feel part of the whole experience. You can see our investment in you, because as I said, it's not just about you having a qualification. We want to be sure that when you go out there, that you are going to be the voice of CTS to people out there. For example, Kavita indicated that a friend of hers recommended her to CTS, and Miguel indicated as well, or Satyam indicated that he got a lot of support from CTS. Those, you are our testimonies, and it's important that you are honest in your testimony, and therefore, in order to do that, we have to be sure about our support. So therefore, I'm not begging you to go and tell people something that is not true. I want you to give people your candid feedback as well. I want you to be fair and unbiased in terms of your feedback. And that's why it's important to me that, look, we do what we say we will do. If I promise you this, I want to deliver, and I want my word to be honest as well to you guys also. So therefore, in terms of our student experience is crucial to us. Now, what we do is that in terms of the student, the university has what we call a student council, but because of this whole COVID thing, the student council wasn't very active because of the fact that, you know, COVID changed a lot of stuff. And because students were not physically meeting and stuff like that, it became difficult for them to meet because they didn't really, you know, often that face-to-face allows you the opportunity to gel better as well. So the student voice, honestly, was a bit more silent in the last semester because of the whole COVID issue. But at the same time, please know that although I'm the principal of CTS College, you have access to my phone number. I give my number to everyone because the fact is that you are choosing to come to CTS, and therefore I am ultimately responsible for you. So you have my number. You could talk to me whenever you want at any time. And as much as possible, I return my calls as best as I can. I do get a lot of calls on WhatsApp and stuff like that. I might be slow sometimes in responding because of the volume, but the fact is that I would not ignore your calls simply because, because of attitude or anything like that. It's purely because I'm in meetings, etc. But as I said, if for any reason I overlook your call for whatever, charge it to my head and not my heart, and you just feel free to call back again. Okay? So, but there are surveys and stuff that the university does to ensure that, look, the student experience is important to them. And when you share with me your experience, I also take that back to the university as well. And the university is always willing to make changes as well. Of course, not everything we ask for, we get. But the fact is they are learning and are listening university as well. So that's helpful. Now, in order to undertake the course, right now, the course moved from face-to-face to online. Eventually, we would move back to face-to-face as well, but I can't say exactly when. So although there's talks about school reopening in September, the truth is, with the social distancing and people still not very comfortable as well, being in same space with others, what we may do, we may continue with the online classes until we have to go back to face-to-face. Now, just to share with you, when the government made a decision on March 13th, where they advised all schools and institutions of learning to move on to basically stop face-to-face classes, we immediately had moved online by the next day, right? However, what we have done throughout the program, we have been doing surveys, and what we found is that based on the most recent surveys, more than 70% of the students are asking us to stay online. In fact, in my last class, everyone in the class, but that class had like about 15 students, preferred to stay online rather than go back to face-to-face, more so because of the convenience. You know, on their phone, sometimes they're going home, they can access the lecture on their phone, right? Because class is going on, but they're on their phone with their headphones as well, listening to the lecture. Or they're at home, they don't have to travel, they don't have to worry about getting transportation to get back home at night, etc. On the Saturday to study about parking, etc. They enjoy the convenience. For me, I really miss the face-to-face with my students because I love the relationship part of my job. What I love most about my job is about relationship building, getting to know all my students by name, etc., and getting to know their faces and stuff like that. So when I meet you out there, I know my students. The truth is, you can probably see my face, but I'm not seeing most of you. So I might pass you on the street without knowing you are one of my students. And I want to know you because to me, as I said, this is my ministry and relationships are really important to me, which is why it's my, I've made it my prerogative as well to be part of my students' journey throughout the program rather than just administrate the school from an administrator standpoint. Yes, I do that as well, but my students are to me very crucial, and therefore, to be quite honest, that's why I'm very much involved in my students' journey throughout the program. Now, at the completion of the program, you have 2 graduation ceremonies you can attend. Our graduation ceremonies at the Hyatt, and apart from that, you can also attend the graduation in the UK. Of course, it will be at your own cost, right? Because you'll have to foot the bill to go across there, etc., and accommodation, airfare, etc. That will be your cost. But it's a wonderful experience to have you studied a UK degree and to be able to go to the UK to graduate. Note that your certificate will not have CTS on it. It will have the University of Bedfordshire. It will be the same as if you were across there studying, right? So that's a bit about it. Now, how do I qualify for this program? Now, we talked a bit about those earlier on. So just to reiterate now. So in terms of the bridging program, we said anyone can apply for the bridging program, right? There are no entry requirements for it. However, when you're applying, you need to provide copies of your ID or passport, right? If you have CSEC, you could add your CSEC qualification. You could include your resume as well, right? But you must complete the application form and minimum a copy of your ID if you're starting at the bridging program. Now, please note when you're applying, you don't apply for the bridging program. You apply for year 1, but the university will indicate if they will put you in the bridging program or not, right? And of course, typically now for everyone else, you need to provide evidence. So if you're using your work experience to get into the program, we need a job letter to support your work experience. So you should get a job letter from your employer to show the work experience. I'm not interested in your salary. We're interested in the number of years of experience. If you have IT experience, if it could show a bit about what you do. If not, and it just state your job title, if you could attach your job description to it, because you see, the university would need evidence that yes, you have the experience, and you cannot just say, well, look, my resume says that. The truth is we could all create our own resume and put whatever we want on it. So verification is needed from the employer to show that, look, you do have the work experience if you're using work experience. Now my recommendation is when you're applying, use everything that you have if you'd like. If you have your advanced diploma and stuff, use a copy of your advanced diploma. If you have any IT certificates you've done, include them. If you did online courses as well, include those certificates as well if you have them. And everything you're submitting is on soft copy to me, right? Include your resume also, just in case if I see something that would be helpful, I could also include it as well. Because normally what students do, there's something called a personal statement that you do when you're applying, but you don't need to complete the personal statement. What I typically do now, I often will write the personal statements to students. Once I have your resume, I will generally do the personal statement if it is a requirement. But if you clearly satisfy the requirement, your personal statement is not required. If, however, your situation is a bit iffy, I may write a personal statement using your resume and the information you provided to prepare it for you. So I help you in that whole process as well. But typically, guys, when you're applying, these are the things you need. I need a copy of your resume. I need a copy of either your ID or passport, not expired. If you don't have any of those two, then maybe a copy of a picture ID. So your driver's permit would be helpful then, right? Hopefully you'll have one of those 3. Your IT, if you have any IT certifications or other certifications, you could include those. If you have any academic qualification, if you could include those as well, the certificates will be helpful. If you have work experience, whether it's IT or not, you could include job letters to support it, right? Those will be helpful. I don't need all your jobs, right? But ideally is to show that you minimally meet the requirement that is requested. Of course, feel free to liaise with me if you're uncertain as well, and I will guide you through as well. And the same for each level is simply providing evidence of what you have, right? So those are the things that you need to submit. All right, so how do you apply? So you complete the application form, submit copies via email, whether it's level 4 or bridging program, complete the application form. Now, in terms of the application form, the page 1 and page 3 of the application form needs signing. Now, please note, right, I would have emailed the application form before to you, but if you haven't gotten it, at the end of the session, I'll be emailing the application form again to you. kindly ensure you sign page 1 and page 3. Now, if you don't have the option to print and sign, that's not a big issue. What you could do, you could fill it out in soft copy and you could take a picture of your signature, and you could simply, when you're emailing me the stuff, email me the picture of your signature and I will insert it into the application form in the first page and third page. Good. So just send me a picture of your signature and I will do so. Now, if you're putting your signature, try to do it on a blank piece of paper so there are no lines and stuff like that, right? So it's a clear sheet of paper with no lines or anything, preferably. If you have to sign it on a page with lines, no problem. I'll make it work. Good. So you submit your application form with your signature and copy of your ID or passport, your resume, and all your supporting documents as well. Those will help to build the chances of you getting into the higher level. Okay. Now, what happens? What's the application process? So this is what happens. You will first submit your application form with the supporting evidence to CTS College. Now you're sending it to study@ctscollege.com. Right? Now, what you do, please WhatsApp me whenever you send your stuff. Please WhatsApp me to ensure that, you know, I got it as well. Or you could just let me know, hey, Ravi, and please call me Ravi, right? I sent my application today. This is, and you include your name. This is so-and-so, right? Okay, good. Next. Once we got your application, I'll review it, ensure it is complete. If it's not complete, I'll let you know what is missing, right? And then I will complete the application and then it's submitted to the university for processing. Now, the university may take 2 to 3 weeks to review and approve your application, right? Sometimes they may take a little longer, sometimes they may take less. Once they have reviewed the application, you will be accepted, whether it's level 4, level 5, level 6, right? Or even if it's a bridging program. Now, once you're accepted, you'll get a 2-page offer letter, right? And so you'll get an offer letter. I will email that offer letter to you as well as a registration form as well. Now, if you decide that you want to accept your offer and start, you need to complete page 2 of the offer letter. Well, regardless, you need to complete page 2. And on page 2 of the offer letter, you'll sign it and you'll indicate whether you're accepting the offer to start now or if you want to start later or if you not interested, right? So you include that, send it back to me. I'll also send you a registration form as well for you to complete. Once you're starting, you will fill out the registration form. Now, what I will do, once you get your offer letters, I will have like a Zoom session with you guys to guide you through how to fill out the form, and we do it online, and then you can just email it to me as well. So I will work with you throughout the whole process anyway. After that, you complete and sign your offer letter and the registration form, send it to me. I will then, so email those to me. I will then send those to the university. You are now officially accepted by the university, and then they will create an account for you to access Brio and classes start. Good. So that's basically the process that we will be following. So the next thing now is cost. How much will this program cost? So let's take a look at the cost. Now, in terms of the bridging program, there's 1 unit. The registration fee is $500. The tuition fee payable to CTS is $2,000 for tuition fee. The university fee is £150. Right, so registration is $500, tuition fee is $2,000 TT dollars, sorry, and the university fee is £150. That's for the bridging program. Now, right now the exchange rate is roughly 8.8 or so. So the exchange rate for the pounds is low. So it's a good time to get your pounds. Level 4, which is year 1. Year 1 has 4 modules or four units. It's $500 per semester. Now remember, there are 2 semesters. So in your first semester, you pay $500 for the semester. It's $2,000 per subject. So in your first semester, you're only paying for what you're doing in the semester. So there are 2 subjects in the semester. You'll be 2,000 by 2, which is 4,000 you're paying in semester 1, and 2,000 by 2, which is 4,000 you're paying in semester 2. Also, the university fee is £150 per subject or per unit, and there are now 4 units, so it's £600. So let's break it down by semester. So if you're starting at level 4, in your first semester, you pay $500 to register. It's $2,000 per subject or per unit. So it's 2 subjects you're doing. So it's 2,000 by 2, which is $4,000 in your first semester for tuition, and £150 by 2, which is £300 in your first semester. In your second semester, is the same thing again, $500 to register, $4,000 for the tuition for the 2 subjects, and £300 for the university. This gives you your totals, right? But you can always break that down by per semester by dividing it into 2. Okay, so level 5 it's 500 to register, 22.50 per subject by 4 subjects, and it's £150 per subject at level 5. Level 6, however, the price increases, so it's 2,500 per subject by 4 subjects, but the university fee here is £375 per subject by 4 subjects, which is £1,500 in total. Okay, now we do have payment plans available. So in terms of payment plan, this is an example payment plan. So if you're starting at level 4, you're doing four subjects, but you're doing 2 in 1 semester, right? So it's 500 to register, and you could pay for your tuition. You pay 500 per month per subject, and you're doing that over 4 months. So the monthly fee is paid over 4 months. You're paying 500 per month per subject by 4 months, right? And that's how you get your 2,000. And of course, the university fees is £150 per unit paid at the start of the semester. Okay, so all we've done is I've divided the tuition cost per subject. Sorry about that. I've divided your tuition cost per subject by 4, and that's your monthly payment. So they take this divided by 4, and that's your monthly tuition fee. Okay, and that's your payment plan. You can pay monthly for this as well. Now we do have a special offer where applicants will receive up to $1,000 of their tuition. So that's $1,000 of your tuition per level, which works out to $250 per subject. But if there are 4 subjects per level, so you can get up to $1,000 off your tuition, right? Based on a special condition. So what is the special condition? Well, these are the following conditions to get your special offer. 1, you must submit your application by July 31st, which is, you still have some time, right? That's about 2 weeks from now, right? You must submit all your supporting evidence as well by July 31st. So you're sending both your application, your completed application, and supporting evidence by July 31st. And then by 10th of September, that's by closer to the semester start, you pay your tuition and UoB fees by the 10th of September. So you pay your fees in full by the 10th of September, and you'll get your discount, your special offer off. Okay. I noticed there's something on the chat. Let me just check as well. Okay. Any questions as well, feel free to ask also. Okay. All right. So those are the dates as well for submitting your documents. Now, when do you start? The next semester starts on the 26th of September. So our class starts 26th of September. So you still have some time, but the fact is that to qualify for the special offer, if I could get your application stuff by the end of this month, and you have until the 10th of September to pay the fees as well to get a special offer. Timothy, you want to just share a question as well, please?
Yes, hi, have you hear me?
Yes.
Just want to find out, right? Is there any exam fees along with the fees that you give just now?
Those are all the fees. There are no additional fee. The university fee is what we will call the exam fee, right? So the university fee is what you will call the exam fee. I'm just going to, if you don't mind, guys, I'm also just taking a snapshot of the attendance as well, right? But I want each of you, if you could kindly include your private message, your email address, please. So I want to send out the application form to you right after, along with the recording for the session. But I need to get your email address. If you could private message your email address, please. And apart from that, what I also do, there's a survey that I want you to take. Timothy, going back to you, the information on the fees, those are all the fees. There are no hidden fees, etc. And apart from that, books and stuff like that, the books are all available in soft copy. The resources are available in soft copy as well. Okay?
Okay, great. Also, is it GATE approved?
No, GATE is no longer applicable since 2017, October 2017. None of the private institutions have GATE funding, because what has happened is that with the falling oil price, the government had to find a way to reduce the overall expenditure. So what they did was they cut GATE from all the private institutions. And what they also did was GATE at the public institutions were reduced. So now you get 50% funding. Once the household income is over 10,000, you get 50% funding at the public institution, right? The difference. So GATE is no longer applicable, which is why what we try to do is to find the most affordable program for you guys as well.
Ravi, could you just go back to the slide before that shows the structure of the fees?
Sure, definitely. The payment plans, or this one here?
This one.
No problem. Now, before you ask the question, I would just want to reiterate to everyone as well, on the chat, I'm just pasting the link to a survey that if you could take a look at the chat as well, and if you can, in terms of the chat, if you could just complete the survey for me, please. It's just to help us find out exactly where you found out about the information session. It helps us in our marketing. All right, so while you're doing that, please go right ahead with the questions as well regarding the costing. And you can pay monthly. Just a gentle reminder while you're reviewing, and you could take your pictures of the costing as well. I'm sending the slides, and I've also could send you an email as well with the payment plan also. But if you guys could please complete the survey that I sent as well, it's really instrumental for us as well to figuring out, you know, where's the best place for advertising? How did you find out about us? Where did you find out about us from, etc. And it helps us as well because we're advertising. But the thing is that it'll be really good to know exactly where students, where our leads, and particularly our strong leads, are coming from. So whether it's radio, from different website, from our website, from, you know, through our newsletters, or how are you finding out about the session? So if you could kindly fill out the form, please, the survey. All right, the survey is in the chat. All you have to do is just go to the chat, and if you scroll down the chat, you will see it. Don't forget to include your email address as well so that I can be sure to assist. Okay, in terms of the payment of the fees, the CTS College fees can be paid via credit card, but the University of Bedfordshire fees has to be paid in pounds. So in order to pay the University of Bedfordshire fees, you can either do a bank draft or you could bring actual pound notes for us. Now, what happens is that the university, in order for them to minimize their management of these students, what they do from an accounting perspective, they invoice CTS for the full amount, right? So basically CTS is the customer. So they invoice us for all the students. So we pay them and then you pay us. So you pay us and we pay them. But the thing is they invoice us upfront, which is why we typically ask students as well to pay the fees at the beginning of the semester, because we need to pay them upfront. So you pay us, we pay them. All right. So for that reason, the UoB fees, the exam fees, the university fees cannot be paid via credit card. It's paid via pounds or bank draft for the moment. But CTS tuition and registration could be paid via credit card, cash, check, etc. Or you could do bank transfer as well, right? So there are many different ways you could pay the fees. Are there any other questions you guys would like to ask?
Is Ariel, you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's making sure. So I'm still going to school, right? And I'm doing a diploma in network specialist, IT network specialist.
Right.
So I will still have to do like the bridging program or the level 4.
Well, it all depends. If you're doing a diploma in IT, would you mind mentioning where you're doing it? Is it at Costa, UTT?
NESC.
Right, NESC. So right now, I have my first NESC applicant, and he's applying directly for the final year. So only when that applicant has been submitted and the university gives us feedback, I'll be able to confirm with you if the NESC qualification will get you direct access to the final year, or if they'll get access, because it's a 2-year program at NESC, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so
I'm still doing like, still in NESC, going to my second year. So next year I will be applying
Not a problem. So right now, you should be allowed to apply directly into at least level 5, but we haven't been able to guarantee if you'll get into level 6 as yet until we get approval. So what happens is that for some of these, I will need to get like one student apply, and it's free to apply. Once the university has processed your application, then we'll know exactly if you'll be starting at level 5 or level 6 as the case may be. All right, so for example, some of you may have done the program at School of Practical Accounting as well, and you would have done the EduQual diploma. We'll verify as well. So I have an applicant with that qualification, and therefore we are waiting the feedback to determine if EduQual graduates will get directly into the final year or not, right?
No problem. Thanks so much.
No problem, Ariel. All right. Anybody else? Okay, but if there are no further questions, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up now. Please ensure that you do include your email address. You private message me your email address. So I'll be sending, I want to make sure you get the app, you do get the recording of today's session along with the slides, etc.
Hi, Ravi.
Yes, Jude?
Yeah, I'm just getting some names from persons still here, right, and email addresses, because I'm taking the register right now. A student, Mark just asked if with the UTT diploma, if he can get directly into it in software engineering. That's the diploma. I believe I did an UTT as well, technician's diploma.
UTT diploma will go directly into level 6. If you've done the UTT diploma, once it's an IT related subject area, right, you will get straight into level 6. If you've done your the Costart associate degree or the Reutech associate degree, you will go directly into the final year as well. If you've done, for example, the BTech HND, you'll go directly into the final year. If you've done the NCC advanced diploma, so you have the level 5 diploma from NCC, you'll go directly into the final year, right? So all of those are different options you have. So the answer is final year for each of those programs. And so definitely, Mark, with your UTT diploma, I will need a copy of the certificate, right? Transcripts are not mandatory. The only time I will encourage a student to submit a transcript is for a qualification that we've never had assessed before. So like the NASC student, I would encourage them to include their transcript as well as the EduQual student to include their transcript as well.
Ravi?
Hi, Ravi.
Yes, go right ahead.
Let's say the Costart associate degree. Do you have to complete it?
Well, if you haven't completed the Costart associate degree, then you would not have the certificate. So the transcript will be required. But
okay,
if you have an incomplete qualification, it can help to get you entered into one of the higher levels, because the end of it, what the university may do is, do you also have like IT experience at all, work experience?
Work experience plus IT certificates.
Wonderful. So with an incomplete associate degree, because of those other stuff, it could ideally get you into the final year. Now, in each of these, I want you to verify that this is not a guarantee that you will, but it's a very high chance that you will, because of the experience of having seen other students get in as well because of the combination. Okay?
Okay, no problem.
For some of you, you may have started a program in IT and didn't complete it. Please include it as well. And even if you have intermediate result, even if it shows several fields, etc., or whatever, still include it, because those things can help in terms of you getting it final year or a higher level.
Hi, Ravi.
Hi, Dwayne.
Yes, I have a question. With regards to the start dates, I know October is 1 month for the start period, and February is 1 month. And I saw on the website, on CTS website, that June was a start date with an asterisk by it. Could you highlight a little more about the June period?
So the June now is confirmed. So the asterisk has been should have been removed because it was right. So we have we just closed June intake, right? So
okay, great.
One in October and one in February. Good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome, bud. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you'd like, once you've completed the link, right? So I'm going to share the link again, and you've included your email address, your private message, or your email address, right? Then please, if you'd like as well, and you have no further questions, you're free to leave as well, because the session is complete. But I'll email you the stuff. If for any reason you do not get that email from us, then you can simply, I'm putting my phone number and the email address. Send an email to study@ctscollege.com requesting it, and this is my cell phone number as well. So in the chat, I've included my cell phone number as well as the email address to use also. Okay, I'm just moving back to this is the email address here as well, right, with the dates. So just a gentle reminder with regard to the email address and the dates. So study@ctscollege.com. Make sure you spell college correctly. Often students add a D in college. So it's COLLEGE. That's the email address. And you also have my cell phone number as well. If you want to reach out to me, you could call me on WhatsApp as well. You just identify yourself so that I know in relation, this is regarding the BSc IT program, etc. Right? So I could put it in context. Great. Well, thank you everyone for attending today's session. I'm going to stop the recording now, and I'll stay back if you have any other questions as well. And then afterwards, we will end I'll end the session. Okay. Have a blessed day, guys. Take care.
You too, Ravi. Thanks.
Welcome.